bids, open steel bids. And we have, one bid here, for the steel.
Looks like we got a bid from King Creek Drilling Incorporated from Zoe, Kentucky. Drilling per linear foot using railroad steel, varnish and drill steel under 20-foot length, $55 per linear foot. Per linear foot, use railroad steel, varnish and drill steel over 20 foot, it's $39 a foot. Cribbing per square foot, used guardrail, furnished and installed, $12 a foot. And then, backfill per ton furnished and installed is $65 per foot.
We can accept this, but if we want to do.
We do some of our cribbing and backfill, so we correct that.
But, you know, it's just technical now, so. What's the pleasure of the court? Got a motion to accept it?
I'll say.
And a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
I'll be a top three, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is approve the minutes for June 17th regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for 17th meeting.
Got a motion,
I'll say.
second, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Next item is to approve the minutes for the June 30th special meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 30th special meeting.
Okay,
I'll say.
we got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mike Hill? Yes.
Next item is approve treasurer's report.
Sorry, got my title here, can't see. Just got my eyes down
Cool.
here.
Now buy something.
Yeah. It's just a regular report from, each one of our line, or each one of our accounts, everything is in the black. We're in that position, starting the new year like we always do, waiting on a little bit of money to come in, so that's why all the accounts are showing a little low. But this is where we are every year at this time, coming into the new budget.
Motion and second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Rick,
I'll say.
second by Mouse. Any more discussion? Hearing none.
Rick Black.
Yes.
Next item is approved bills.
The copy of your bills in the folders there, there's not really anything out of the ordinary. One of the month stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by David,
I'll say.
second by Mouse. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Next item is a discussion of, Senate Bill 63 and ordinance Laura Pack, KMRRA.
Good morning, Judge. Thank you for allowing us to come and speak with you.
Well,
You'll all overlook me. I've got a little bit of rasp going on. With the juvenile missing. Now let everybody check that.
Still located.
They have been located. Thank the Lord. I'm Laura Pack. Oh, let's wait. You're I'm Laura Pack, and I am the Board Secretary for Kentucky Mountain Regional Recreation Authority, and we operate as First Frontier Appalachian Trails. I represent Johnson and Morgan County, and, but we have 20 counties that I work in, so Lawrence is one of those counties. With me is Brandon Davenport. Brandon is our Trail Development Coordinator for this region, which encompasses Lawrence County. So he covers Lawrence, Johnson, Martin, McGoffin, Floyd, the counties right here in this region. So what we're here today to talk to you all about is Senate Bill 63, which we've been down and talked with the Clerks Association, and we have a couple of senators and a couple of representatives that serve on our board as well that have helped to organize Senate Bill 63 and get it passed and into law. So what we're doing now is the counties that have not yet had a chance to get it through in their counties, it requires an ordinance, a local government ordinance has to be passed per county to have the ability for folks to register their side-by-sides and to use them for on-road use. So we're here to answer questions about that. And then secondly, to talk about trails in Lawrence County. Both of us have worked very closely with Andrew Goebel, and he has been a remarkable, wonderful representative for Lawrence County on the board. He's a very knowledgeable man when it comes to the industry. He is an off-roader, and he understands off-roading, and has done just a wonderful job of representing you all. But you know, he's got that little old business as a job like we all do, and that keeps him pretty busy. So we're just here helping subsidize talking to you all about the trails with Andrew. We have a couple of different routes that we're coming into Lawrence County, and the idea, if you're not familiar with the trail system, the idea is to connect the counties, not physically sometimes. We can't make every trail connect physically, but we can connect the industry. We can pull the industry into our region, and the people who come here to ride don't really care where the county line is anyway. They just want to ride, they want the experience, they want to do and see and ride and hit all the trails. So what's coming into Lawrence County is from Johnson and Martin and from Elliott and Morgan. So we have trails in all of those counties that come into Lawrence County, and we're working that angle, every one of those angles very hard. We have established trails in Martin County, I'm sure most of you are aware, and we have established counties, or trails in Johnson County, and both of those are ready to come into Lawrence County. We do have some leases signed in Lawrence County in the Peach Orchard area. And if you have questions about that, this is your guy on that. I can tell you that we were very blessed. The folks that bought out the Booth Energy properties are from Morgan County, and they were trail riders, so they came to it with some knowledge already of what the industry looked like and how it can benefit local economies, and they did sign with us. So we have their properties in Johnson and in Lawrence, and the properties they own are in the Peach Orchard area. So that's where we're at with that. And then I want to talk to you about law enforcement, and I know that you'll be interested in that aspect of it.
I'd like to know where the trailheads are in these connected counties.
Right.
Perhaps a map or something detailing.
Sure, I can give you a map. We only have just a handful of official trailheads that are First Frontier trailheads, and that's in Van Leer, here, heads and beds, and
Statute requires 20 miles on the highway, so that's why I'm interested in the locations of trailheads. I mean, if they're running from Clifford all the way over to Johnson County, that's obviously probably going to exceed 20 miles.
Well, I think the Van Leer is gonna be your closest trailhead right now. And then we have, like I said, we have the property secured at Peach Orchard. And probably that's where the next trailhead will be.
Okay, so will we be updated with these trailheads?
You sure will,
maps?
you sure will, yes, sir. Also, I'm sorry, go ahead, Judge.
Is this for all ATVs, and we can only do the county roads?
Well, so the Senate Bill 63 does not include four-wheelers. I think that is a misconception that is across the entire region. Well, and you know, Senate Bill 63 went to the entire state. So we have counties that have opted into Senate Bill 63 all over the Commonwealth. But for us, the importance for us is that they can get off the trail and get to hotels or cabins or restaurants or stores or wherever. That's the reason we were interested in seeing it passed, is because we wanted people to be able to spend their money. That's the whole idea of having the trail system here, is that we bring vacationers in. I'll give you a very good example. There's a little store at the crossroads in the junction between Van Leer and West Van Leer. It's called the General Store.
Big Four.
No, in Johnson.
That's a good one. In LA.
Big Four is a very good example.
We've been there plenty of times, yeah.
So people come here, to ride the trails. That General Store over in Van Leer, hot as a ticket on weekends. She sells out consistently every week. She sells out permits. Her parking lot is full. Her sales have not doubled. Her sales have quadrupled since the trail opened there. That's the whole idea, is to bring more money into these economies and sustain the economy in the really small communities. We can't do that if they couldn't get onto a road and get to the stores, or get to the cabins, or get to the hotel, or get to entertainment, because they don't want to ride trails 24/7, they want to do other things too. So it's an economic plan more than it is a recreation plan. And that's why we were in support of Senate Bill 63, because that allows legalized, street legal vehicles that have turn signals, have brake lights, they have seat belts, they have windshields, they have all those things. It allows them to get on the roads. It does not include four-wheelers.
Or dirt bikes.
No dirt bikes, no sir.
Okay.
You can only register side to side.
Okay, do we take that up on ourselves to limit them on the?
It's in the paperwork, it's in the, CAECO put out a standard.
Yeah, CAECO, they've got an ordinance, that most counties are adopting that standard ordinance and stuff like that. And I believe when it comes to four-wheelers, and like Laura said, there's a misconception because it's new and people don't understand, they just hear ATVs, it's not for four-wheelers, or, there's laws that already protect that, right, sure?
Yeah.
Against those
They're
type
not
of vehicles.
included in this Senate bill.
No,
Right.
they're
I
not.
mean, so, I think it's just gonna be a piece of us educating people. on-
And most of it's terminology.
Yeah, and most of the people,
Call
like
it
you said,
everything
I mean,
ATV.
people are buying these UTVs and stuff like that. I mean, we, do title liens on them all the time, we title them, and people, they're coming through our county, and they're residents of our county, that, I mean, they're paying high dollars for these, so they're gonna abide by. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be our part of trying to educate. Yeah, you're gonna have some problems with, ATVs and motorcycles, people not understanding, because even with the farm exemption for four-wheelers that's been in existence for a while, people still say, well, I can ride to my farm. Well, that's only so,
If your farm's within 2
right,
miles.
yeah, and things like that. So it's just, like I said, the state hasn't really, like we were talking earlier, I don't wanna, but they threw a lot of stuff out here, but they haven't done a real good part of, and it's our part to educate about
Right.
that, I think.
And sadly, that's the case
That's
across all of the
across
counties.
every county's faced with this. I know, like the sheriff's office, they put the form out, but they didn't actually do no training on the inspections and
It's
stuff like
been
that.
almost a month,
Same.
and we're just scheduled for a training today at Zoom, 2:00.
Yeah.
And it's been over a month since we.
But some counties already do it,
Passed and turned the law.
and it's really, it should be consistent across the state.
Do
They're
we
doing
have
their
to specify what roads?
No, sir. The law lays out the types of roads that can be used, and the only thing that
They can't run
can't
on
be used is
23,
interstate.
things like that.
They can't get on the interstate.
Anything with federal, high dollar. highway
Anything
dollars.
that's federal road they can't get onto, but everything else, everything else, just like any other registered vehicle, they'll be allowed access to. And the good thing for some counties, and I know it doesn't pertain to you all, but, we're, as an Eastern Kentucky population, as a culture, we're all in this together. And in some counties, their trails are all this Senate bill has been a game changer for them, because without it, they would have had nothing. And it was so popular when the senators took it to the vote in both houses that I think there were 2 that were against it in the House of Representatives and 3 maybe in the House of Senators. Everyone was for it, and not just in Eastern Kentucky, everywhere, because it's a huge industry and it's a growing industry and it continues to grow. It's a safe bet. Return on investment for off-road activities and adventure tourism is tremendous. Folks make money hand over fist in these little communities, because when people come here, they're side by sides, like the clerk alluded to, they have paid top dollar for these machines, top dollar for the trailers, top dollar for the trucks. They come in groups. We see typically groups of 5 to 6 couples or 12 to 14 individuals. They bring enough vacation money to spend for at least 4 days. So the investment in your community will come back to you very quickly, especially if you've got, that Senate bill in place so they can go out and they can go see something going on down, a music show going on down here in town when they're not riding, or they can get to this restaurant or get to that place. They're gonna bring their full wallets and empty it while they're here, like they do at any vacation destination. That's the plan. That's the full-on plan. And these are just, like the Senate bill is just one part of that, is making that happen. Sir, I didn't know how much you know about the trail system. And I know that a lot of folks have, in law enforcement, have had severe questions about, well, how am I going to monitor all these people that influx these machines? First Frontier, or more correctly, KMRA, we hired, Fish and Wildlife to help us patrol the trails that are gonna be on the trails just for that purpose.
Those are trails within other counties, correct?
I'm sorry?
Those are trails in other counties.
No, that's trails in your county, sir. Yeah.
Anything that's least of those, Fish and Wildlife.
But as of right now, you're just talking check.
Well, right now, yeah. Well, and they were already patrolling that before we got the lease, because they were coming off of our other trails and going there, so we knew that. Another good, for instance, y'all mentioned Big Four and the trails over in that area. They're already doing that because they know we're signing the leases.
So are these, like special duty, or is it the regular patrol activities? Because there's a lot of times
No, they're
that-
special duty. We
Okay, so-
pay them specifically for their work on the trail.
Okay, so they're designated to work those trails and not take other calls.
Right, exactly. And we give them healthy money so that they can do that. The Senate Bill 63 provides an avenue of revenue for you that I hope, it's my hope, that we'll see enough traffic come through of that nature that it will help your organization have a little bit more in their coffers, help his organization have a little bit more in their coffers. I know right now it's not a great lot, but every little penny counts. Am I correct?
They're referring to the inspection fee of $25.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I talked to a guy the other day, he went to Tennessee to license his UTV because Kentucky didn't have that at that time. So people's taking dollars out of our county.
And taking it to other states and bringing it back here.
Just tourists that come here, say from Ohio, they have a tag, they can ride up to McDonald's or something where residents can't.
Do you know how Fish and Wildlife's dispatched incidents on the trail? If it runs through a 911 system, if it'll hit ours, or will it go straight to KSP who dispatches for Fish and Wildlife?
So far, we've not had a whole lot of incidents, but it has been on KSP so far. But we've not had, like I said, presence is everything. Once people knew that there were officers on the trail, some of that cowboy activity is slimmed down a little bit.
But in theory, if they're on a federal trail or wherever we may have it here in the county, if it hits a cell tower, it will probably go to our 911 system.
Most likely. And here, that brings up another point. So say that trails are legitimized in 4 corners of Lawrence County, and your office is responding to calls as well that involve trail activity. And you need money for training or money for equipment that is more specific toward trails. We've already seen this happen in Morgan County. So this is why I'm giving this example. It qualified the sheriff's office there for a grant assistance that it would not have qualified them for before they had trails. Because it's more specific everything that we do that gives us another foot in the door for a potential grant, that's money we wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Are these trail-specific grants, or are they just generalized grants?
No, like, for equipment was trail specific. So, you know, if a sheriff's office is gonna be responding to trail activity type things, maybe they need a side-by-side, maybe their officers need to be trained in off-road recovery, you know, those type are specific to
Is
trail.
this something that the fire departments are like some?
Fire departments most certainly can benefit from this, and we have in Johnson County benefited from applying for grants that were trail specific for recovery, for rescue vehicles, for equipment, for training. Absolutely, when you have the trails, it legitimizes your request for that grant money.
Who's your contact for the Fish and Wildlife scheduling their officers, do you know?
I guess, is Captain Sloan? Yeah,
Jason?
yes, yeah. He is, I think, scheduling everyone in our area.
What it sounds to me is a lesson we that I have 2 officers here, 2 officers there.
So is this something specific to Fish and Wildlife as far as the designated overtime after duty shift work, or is
It's
it?
an MOA agreement with First Frontier.
And who are they paid through? Does it go through the agency, or does it go through?
They're paid through our organization, through Kentucky Mountain Regional Recreation Authority.
So the individual officers are paid for this?
Their Fish and Wildlife is paid, and then they distribute that, yes, sir. It's an MOA agreement that's annually agreed to. We're very blessed to have them as well. And I'll tell you, I'm speaking for Captain Sloan, but he's pretty excited, you know, he's in year 26 of his career, so he kind of fell in that bracket where he missed the whole elk thing, which was like big doo-dah for Fish and Wildlife. And he is excited that they're getting to be, to do something a little different and present a new face for Fish and Wildlife that is out on the trails, not necessarily a bad thing. They're there to preserve safety. Because we don't want just cowboys from every state in the union. We want families. We want people to come here as a family unit and enjoy their time in Eastern Kentucky.
And I can tell you that the trails are the cleanest they've ever been.
They're very clean. And that's a huge thing with us too, is, I'm assuming that everybody here travels. And the one thing you see when you travel outside of Eastern Kentucky is the thing you don't see, it's trash. And that's a huge, huge obstacle to tourism, is having trash everywhere, and, Fish and Wildlife is playing a big part in that as well.
We've actually come up on the trails where people are dumping truckloads and put up cameras and everything and try to catch it doing it and stop.
Actually, thought about it.
Yep, we have.
So it only takes, it's Pavlovian, it's like spanking a child, it takes a couple of times, and then the message is loud and clear, you will get the maximum penalty for dumping trash on the trail.
And once we get stuff mapped, we also sit down with emergency management, tell them the landing zones and all that stuff.
Which is another, there are so many facets to this industry that have to be taken care of, and that's another facet. We've just done that in Johnson County, just established landing zones for emergency personnel, because it's by its nature, it's innately a dangerous activity, so you have to check all the boxes. And, that's what we're doing, checking the boxes.
Y'all just had an annual Johnson County Trail Days, so it's very
We did.
successful and stuff.
Yeah, we
Whatever that
did.
is.
I also, I'm the secretary for the board, but I wear a whole bunch of hats, like everybody in the small community. And I'm the catalyst for trail towns, and, the adventure tourism, I can tell you, is, and I'm sure Wes, if Wes was being here, would tell you, adventure tourism is such a hot ticket. Traditional tourism is still very strong in Eastern Kentucky because of our culture. And folks, if I don't tell you nothing else that sticks with you today, know this. They may come because of the trail, or they may come because of the lake, or they may come because of a singing show with Princessburg. But I promise you this, they'll come back because of each one of you all sitting here. They fall in love with the culture of Eastern Kentucky. So the biggest asset you got, congratulate each other, look to your side, that's the biggest asset you got, is each other and the culture of Eastern Kentucky. And it gives us a chance to keep singing that song too when people come, in Johnson County. We are very, very happy to feed them some sweet beans and play some music for them. We're very happy to do that. Any other questions? Judge, I a lot of it.
It's very important, you did a good job, and, I hope you back.
Well, I hope you'll all keep in touch with me, and when you get ready to do your readings of the ordinance, I'll be happy to come back and answer any questions that I can. I'll be happy to bring one of the senators and answer any questions that we can. Sheriff, if there's, any information you need from me or help in getting that going here, please reach out.
I'm gonna reach out to Mr. Sloan. Also, I would like I said, a map or locations of the possible trailheads here.
Right. So our hope, we're over there at Beach Orchard now, and our hope is to, utilize some gas station trails and get us closer to Louisa so that folks can spend some money. Over in the other region, in the other end, we're coming from Elliott and Morgan County and accessing the trails into Lawrence County. So I will get you what we have currently, and that will give you an idea of
Where
where.
can we figure out what roads we're gonna be traveling on?
Well, hopefully they're gonna travel right into Louisa, let's hope.
We'll see.
Well, let's hope, and let's hope they do it peacefully and legally.
You said Peach Orchard, is it the Peach Orchard, does that include Nats Creek area?
Yes, we are trying very, we have every full attention, I'll just be very open with you about that. We have trails that go over into White House and into that area. We have people that have already built cabins, they are building places for, folks to stay, and we have every intention of coming across Nats Creek. Senate Bill 63 will help with that, because there are places where the trails just don't physically connect, but you get off the trail, get on the road, go around, get to another trail. We have every intention of coming through Nats Creek.
Does that include the Tower Ridge roads from Peach Orchard to,
Yeah.
Yes.
Has any of that been leased yet?
All we have is lease right now is all the blue stuff, and I'm working with Mr. Harvey Mullen for the piece surrounding that. That's what we have secure as of now. That's
What do you
the-
have right now?
Everything that used to be booth, all that Beachport, that's all leased, and we're working with Harvey Mullen to lease another section of that. So, what I gotta do is I have to write it, get it on a map, sit down, figure out who owns it, make contact with that landowner.
And that's another thing, Lawrence County is a small county like all of us are. You all know who the property owners are, where the property owners are, and who owns big pieces of property. And, if they're interested in leasing, the number one thing was that lease, and it's glorified permission slip says, yes, you can go ahead and use the trails across my property. The number one thing with that lease is a release of liability. Because people are gonna ride, you try to block them out, they still keep riding, but with the lease in place, we as a pseudo-state agency assume the responsibility for the people on the trail. It's an expensive, it's an expensive thing to have that liability, but it no longer is with the landowner, it's with us. So,
How long does that lease last?
until you say it doesn't. It's a 60-day out, so
It's
our
on-
party,
It's on demand, they can drop out if they don't like it.
if they don't like it,
60 days.
60 days, we'll remove our signs, remove our police patrolling, remove our garbage cans, and we're back to square one.
They give you 60 days notice.
Or we give 60 days if it's not working out, yes.
I think there's several landowners that don't really want it, but they like, if they got an option, they might consider.
If they have an option and people are already riding on them, it's very difficult to keep local people off of places when you don't want them on it. But if you find that you can, and they're still gonna ride it, this is an option. Sign the lease, we can have some controlling on there, we can clean the trash up, we can decowboy it a little bit.
What if the landowners who don't sign, but their trail butts up against your trails, will you all keep those people off of their property?
No, it's not our job, sir.
Most we can do is put up a do not enter. I mean, we can't have somebody patrol that if we don't have a lease on it.
No.
But then we would work on making the trail go around that and put up a do not
So, I
enter.
mean, would you divert your trail
Right.
so that they don't have a direct connection? Is
Well,
that-
no, we will keep our trails open. We can put up a do not enter, that's what we can do.
That'll probably be some objection to people.
Well, but you're saying we would come patrol trails that we don't have a lease on, we can't do
No,
that.
No.
And we
what I
can't
meant-
designate our trails away from an intersection. That, you know, if you start doing that, it becomes quite the job. And then by virtue, we are patrolling that trail that we don't have a lease on.
What is it that you are, like, you said they need to have an ordinance, or what do they need to do if there's already a?
To
House bill or
to adopt the Senate Bill 63.
Oh, they have
Yes.
to adopt
They
that,
have to
it's not
adopt
the
it.
state.
There's not a city option, only a local government county option. So the county has to have an ordinance in place that says, yes, we accept Senate Bill 63 here, our clerk will register vehicles.
Well, there's two folds to that, Laura, if I'm correct on it. The Senate Bill 63 ordinance allows them to ride on these roadways, but we can still license them. I mean, I hope the county will pass the ordinance.
Yes, yeah.
So
and
I think
true.
it's really two parts to that. And currently, we can license them after the sheriff inspects them, if they meet the qualifications. And then the county can pass it where they can ride these
Yes.
on the roadways. Am I correct on that?
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
The state clerk's office is gonna do what they do.
Yeah, I mean, we've already had clerks that's
Yeah.
licensed them, you know, but it's just, the transportation cabinet hasn't really done proper training like they should have for all of us. It's been unfair,
Yeah.
even to the sheriffs, and that's because they pass, you know, I'm all for, I mean, I think it's important to do this, you know, there's, you know, the economic tourism and the safety, I mean, as a first responder,
Yeah.
you know, and things like that, but, I mean, we can currently license them as long as they meet the qualifications. And there will be some, probably, legislation going in, will be a confusion about revenue, but,
Yes.
you know, on taxes and things of that nature. But, and then I thought the city has to pass their own ordinance, the KLC was.
The law doesn't specify
It
that.
don't,
No.
okay. See, that was another part of this kind
It does, however, allow for the county to opt out of specific roads, right?
You could opt out,
Like subsection 2, paragraph A.
you could opt out.
You can do your own.
Yeah, Boyd County, they have rush off road, they've already adopted it, Johnson County.
Johnson
everybody
County
around us
adopted
has
it.
done it. And
I-
they went by Keiko.
I believe there's been, to my knowledge, in the last count I had, 86 counties that have adopted it in complex.
If the county adopts it, does it apply to city streets also?
It does. The city is part of the county.
Unless the city says no, right?
Well, and they don't, by the law, by the way the law is written, they don't have the option. No one has asked the cities, it's a county government body. And all of the county the city is included in the county. They do things when they're going through the process of creating law. They do committees to determine who's gonna have a say in things. And both the House and the Senate determined that it would be local governments, county governments who have that call.
Wouldn't it open a lot of opportunities for like residents to have Airbnbs?
It most certainly would, sir.
I
Yeah.
know the state of Boyd County, I know they make a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
I can tell you, we do not have enough of them to support
We
the
do.
taxes. There's not enough like.
Maybe some of your landowners that's a little hesitant to do some of that.
There's local developer said he's ready to open the campground as soon as this opens up.
We have had, just in Johnson County, we just passed this, it's not even been a month ago. We have already had 3 more Airbnbs open and 2 more cabin rental places are in the process. And we've not even had a month. But prior to Senate Bill 63, it was off the table for them because the riders couldn't legally get from one place to another. Vacation people who come here to spend $3,000 or $4,000 don't come here to break the law. That's not part of their goal. They don't want hassle, they don't want anything like that. They wanna come here, enjoy their vacation, go where they'd like to, take their wife out to dinner, take the kids to wherever. I mean, that's not their goal, is not to come here and break laws. They wanna come and feel like they're welcome and they're spend their money where they need to.
Eric Hubbard with Backroads Appalachian, he was with you all when they come and spoke with clerks, and Eric's got a lot of stuff going on with Backroads
He sure does.
Appalachian. And, I mean, they had an event in another county, and the people in Kentucky participating.
That's exactly
because
right.
of
It was
this
an
law.
event in 12 counties.
Yeah,
And people could come from all the surrounding states and participate, and a lot of people did. But people in our own commonwealth couldn't participate in the activity because we did not have legalized side-by-sides on the road. And that was his impetus for participating in that, because he got question after question, and he had to say, I'm sorry, you know, Jackson County resident, you can't do this because you can't legally be on the road. That's a real kick in the butt. If we, we allow everybody around us to do it, and then our own people, which many are law-abiding citizens who have spent $30,000-$40,000 to have rides and trucks and trailers, and they couldn't do something in their own backyard, was, kind of insane.
Do they have to have a driver's license and insurance?
They do have to have a
They
driver's
have
license.
insurance and everything, it has to meet all of those, I mean, the state
It's
has.
like a
to-
motorcycle, they have like a policy like that, so.
Yeah. So, the safety aspect of it is huge. You actually have people that are on the road that are insured and proper age to be licensed and things like
Senator
that.
Wheeler, he was very much involved in this legislation.
Senator Wheeler, Senator Storm, Senator Smith, there were 8 senators that proposed and saw the legislation through. Representative Chris Fugit, you know, is one of our city board members, he's not a member, he's honoring him, but, yeah, there's a lot of legislators that have helped us get to where we are.
Representative Schuger, he came when they first
Yes,
started
he
it
did.
and spoke to Fiscal before we signed.
Yes.
On that.
You can contact Andrew, you can contact myself, you can contact Brandon. Any of us will be happy to help and answer questions, not just the judge, any of you all. And we appreciate you so much, Judge, allowing us a moment of time. Thank you. You all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is, Conservation District Annual Budget.
I made a motion, we took the Lawrence County Conservation District budget.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Roll to the library board. We have, 2 here. We'll do one at a time. Joanne Tripp, 405 Cottonwood Road, Louisa.
Who'd you say joined who?
Tripp. Motion and a second.
We're appointing both of them.
Yeah, let's do it one at a time. We have to do one at a time. Just vote on one at a time.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Dave Henson,
I'll say.
second by Rick. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Next, person is Andrea Maddox, 306 Willow Tree Lane, Catonsburg. Motion made by Mouse. Second by Dave. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call, 24 gas and oil tax settlement.
What that is doing, it just shows all that balanced out, zero balance.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Rick. Second by Mouse. Any more discussion? Hearing none, please, amendment first reading. Motion made